Hey folks, welcome back to Jerome Bee Farm and Homestead. It's Saturday, July 15th, so we're at mid-July. This is a time of year I usually will harvest my honey, pull the supers off, get them inside, get a dehydrator on them if need be. And I was hoping I could start on that this weekend, but it has been so rainy this week and humid, and I'm really concerned about the moisture content in the honey. This whole year's been crazy, but I was going to say it's been unprecedented, this weather, but yeah, all year has been nuts. So normally this is a dry time of year, but when you pull honey off, or the prior week, you want a nice dry period so the bees can really get that honey dehydrated down and have a low moisture content. I did a shake test on the last video on one of those frames that wasn't capped, and those are the ones I'm concerned with. They're sitting there uncapped, and honey is what's called a hydrophobic, I think I said that right, substance, and it absorbs moisture. So with it being that humid out and that uncapped, I'm concerned that it's absorbing the moisture. And Justin over at Sweet Stingers posted a lessons from the beehive about fermenting honey in the hive. And he showed a picture of a frame of open honey with bubbles in it. And I had never seen that. So if that's going on around here, that concerns me a lot. So I'm not going to pull honey. I might grab a little bit from one of those uncapped frames and put it on the hydrometer and see where it comes in at. So if it's where it needs to be, I might start pulling some tomorrow. But for today in this video, I'm going to follow up on some hives that we're still requeening, and that's going to be 22, and I think it's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 35, I think is what it's the second apame over there. So those two hives were requeening, and in fact, I think I put a brood frame from that apame over into 22 to get it going. So I need to check those and possibly mark those queens. And I want to check on the rest of these little nukes that are down here on the end. That's some banked queens, the dormer swarm that was very small, and the hive on the very end, you might notice it's gone. That was the cedar tree swarm. It was a good sized swarm, and I had the queen in there and I got her marked. So let's see, it was I think it was last weekend or the weekend before, I loaded that up and took that up to Michael and got that set up for him. So yeah, hopefully that's going well for him, and it's going good. So I need to get started. There's rain coming. It's just over these trees. There's a line of storms coming. So hopefully I can get all this done before they get here. So fortunately it's really, really cool this morning. That's another reason I want to get out here. Man, yesterday was crazy hot. I just drove down here on the four-wheeler and watched the bees to see if they were flying, and they weren't flying very much. And the reason I wanted to check, the alfalfa field that's 2 miles to the north of me is blooming. So they cut it once, it's come up again, and it's blooming. They'll probably cut it again here pretty soon. But yeah, that field's blooming. So alfalfa clover flowers makes good honey. So I don't know that they're making it that far, but they may not know it's there. But anyway, let's get into these nukes and these two hives requeening and see if we've got queens, and maybe check on some honey moisture content. Okay, here's hive 22. Got our dummy brick on here, so that means come back, dummy, check on me. So I had put a brood frame in here with some eggs so this hive could requeen. So this hive was a double D. It was fairly strong. It swarmed on me. I didn't catch it in time, and it had swarm cells. They did not requeen. It failed to. So I put another one in here, another brood frame with eggs to give them a chance to requeen. So let's see what we've got. Oh, I hear thunder. So population looks decent. So on a day like today, when it's overcast, bees aren't flying. So every bee that belongs to this hive just about is in this hive. So all you beekeepers that have enjoyed your nice, happy disposition bees in the spring, that's going to change because the nectar flow is slowing down. Bees aren't flying. All the field bees are becoming guard bees because they don't have anything else to do, and they're not going to be so friendly. I don't see a huge population in here. It's not bad, but it's not good either. And I hear thunder in the background. So we need to get moving. Well, as far as food stores, they're good. It's full of honey. Honey, honey. So there's nothing else coming in because there's all those empty cells below the main honey there that's capped. They may be pulling out of that. It's a lot of pollen here, honey. Heavy pollen there, bee bread. Usually you see something like that next to brood, but that may be from me reducing this down. Got the bees a little out of order on how they have things stored in here. Again, more pollen, bee bread, honey. So this frame's basically like the last. It's not looking good. Let's see, this frame here is probably the one. I usually put them right in the middle. That would have been the brood frame. And there's nothing there. No eggs. You can see some queen cells here. Usually the queen might slow down laying a little bit. So here's a little bit of nectar right here, so they are bringing in a little bit. I was saying the queen will slow down this time of year a little bit when the nectar slows, but I don't believe they will stop completely. And there's pollen again. So looks like we're still queenless here. This time of year, requeening is difficult because the dragonflies are really heavy. In fact, when I came down here, they're just patrolling out in front of these hives. You know, a queen bee is probably one of the slowest things flying around out there. Yeah, this hive is queenless. And the population's starting to come down. So, I have a banked queen over there. This would be a good opportunity to just go ahead and use that queen. Get this here queen right. Instead of giving them another brood frame and waiting another almost a month, you know. That's a bummer. Oops. We may do that in this video. We'll go down there and check on that queen, see what it looks like if we've got time. It's not raining on us. Okay, here's our bank queen nuke. And this queen that's in there came from this Apame hive number 34. So this hive, I let it get going too good and it got too big and it started swarm cells. So what I did was I pulled that queen out, moved her so she wouldn't swarm. So there's only 3 frames in this little nuke right here, I believe. And so it's very small. So she's basically what they call demoralized. So she's not going to swarm now. So we need to make sure we do have a queen in this hive. And if we do, I can take that extra queen now and go down to 22 and get it queen right. So but I want to check this one because I'd like to overwinter this as a nuke and then put it into a full-size hive next year. It'll be really good. So let's get in here in this Apame and let me check the date and see when that was. Okay, so on June 20th, when I inspected this, I found the swarm cells in here. I didn't find that queen on that day. I came back on the 23rd, I found her, and that's when I moved her. So since June 20th, so it's been 10 days to get to July, and we've had 15 days in July, so 25 days. That's adequate time for a queen. So the swarm cells were developed at that time, so plenty of time for a queen to have emerged, mate, and come back, and probably be laying at this point, if we're lucky. I've been kind of keeping my eye on the front of this, and I actually opened up, since it's so hot, I opened up both sides, but they do have the vents up here too, and in back. Try and do this without smoking them. Population initially looks good there. Maybe we got some brood in here. Those would be with pollen. Doing a little foraging. Oh, I got my white pen so I can mark these. See how that works. Mark these black frames. So I do need to get them expanded on out. Probably feed them and give them the 2 more blank frames, if we're queen right, so they can start drawing those out. So this will be a brand new queen if we've got one. Need to get her marked red. I need to find a queen first before I start thinking about all that stuff. Getting ahead of myself. Oh, I see capped brood. We're good. Awesome. So yeah, not the greatest pattern in the world, but that's not the nicest frame I put in there for them probably. But we will take that. So this hive next year, with this 1-year-old queen coming into next year, she should be in her prime, and that's nice looking. Yeah, man, I've gone through this 3 times. Cannot find that queen. There's a few bees down in the corners on the bottom. She may be down in there. They're definitely queen right. I don't know why I can't find her. That's just really weird. Okay, let's get down on that banked queen, see if we can find her. I think I'm gonna put her in a clip and see how they react to her down there. Well, I'm making in the assumption that I can find this queen. Oh, goodness. Can't believe I couldn't find that queen on 5 frames, for crying out loud. She wasn't on those frames. She couldn't have been. Boy, for a queen bank, they got a lot going on. They're pretty grumpy too. I didn't want to smoke them. I wonder if they're low on food stores. Got my queen clip ready here. We got some larvae, so she's laying over here. It's a little bit of nectar on the edges. So they do have food. I do see pollen. They're producing brood, so, oh, come on. You've got to be kidding me. Here she is out here. So it tells me they're kind of going into survival mode. I'm gonna go ahead and mark her. Make sure she's up on the wall. I don't catch her in this slider. There we go. Get my pen ready. Get these little workers out of the way, because they will smear your ink. One more. Come on, get out of there. You can do it. Oh. There we go. Now we got our queen by herself. Get her in position. Just kind of moving that plunger up and down. I want to try and get her, there we go. You can get to that bare spot on her back. And release it fast so it doesn't smear on the top. So we'll let that dry. We'll get her over to hive 22 and see if they accept her. If they attack her, we know there's a queen in there that I missed her. On a prior video when I was marking a queen, when I got done, there was a lot of bees in the air. And I didn't want workers to get in there with her, so I turned it upside down like this. And some people said, be careful when you do that because that plunger will slide down and smash a queen. So, passing that on to you guys. Mine, so what holds it in place is the foam is a little bit wider than the tube, so it holds it in place. But over time that foam dries and gets hard and it loses its ability to hang on like that. So I had a stick plunger one that did that exact same thing. In fact, the plunger fell out and my queen started walking off. That was a little scary. So if they're aggressive towards her, you know, I'll know that they probably have a queen in here, and I won't have wasted a queen by moving her over here on a frame. So this will be a quick test. So they're not looking aggressive to me. They're meeting her with their proboscis, and she's up against the little flap like they're accepting her. She's not hiding back in the back. Let's try and open it up a little bit. And they're all fanning. They're fanning her pheromone. So they're opened about halfway. See if she'll slide out of there. Yeah, there she came out. She's right there on top. Yeah, they're greeting her friendly. Like, hey, what's up? And all these bees back here are fanning now. They're fanning that queen pheromone down into the hive. Acting like a swarm, you know. See if we can get her to go down in there. Yeah, she went on down, I think. Make double. No, she's right there. Yeah, there she went, right down in there. Okay. So this hive is queen right. She ought to get in there. They'll take good care of her, get to laying. There's plenty of food in here. So I'm just going to leave that other hive queenless over there and see if they'll pull down some queen cells. And you can always use extra queens, so we'll see what they can do over there with their 2 frames over there. Okay, so we made us a withdrawal from the bank, and I'm going to leave this the way it is. I could have just taken these 2 frames and put them over there. I'm going to see if they'll pull down some queen cells off of these 2 frames here, and maybe get us another mated queen here that we could bank, or maybe overwinter a nuke here. So I'm going to try this white pen. This is a overseas paint marker PMA 520. I'll put a link to this below so you can check it out if you've got these black frames. And it's good to mark your frames so you know what year they went in service. So basically this is just like those Posco pens that you mark your queens with, so you could use these for the white year. So I'll put a 23 on there. That worked good. It's nice and vivid, and I had to prime it a little bit to get it going. So 2023. So when that frame starts getting some age on it, 5-6 years old, and it's getting dark, I may want to cull that and clean it off and re-wax it and start over. I've got a collection up there, some old foundation and frames that that'll be a when it's cooler out project to clean those up and get some beeswax on them and use them another year. So this little hive is going to be extra grumpy now, and it probably wouldn't hurt to give them a little bit of food. Okay, so what did we accomplish today? We found out this Apame hive is queen right. Although I couldn't find the queen, there's a queen in there. If there's not a queen in there, something just happened to her like recent. I think based on the behavior of this queen, they're just running off and hiding. So, which is, maybe that's something that they do this time of year. I don't know. I haven't seen that a whole lot, but there's definitely a queen in there. So I don't have to use my bank queen to get this Apame queen right. It's good. So we used our bank queen down there in hive 22. That was definitely queenless, and we could tell by the way they accepted that queen when I put her in there. So that is it. We accomplished a lot. Got our marker in, got a black frame mark, and we can go do some more of those. And that is it for this video. Give me a thumbs up, and we'll catch you on the next beekeeping video. Y'all take care.